Let you go now. I want to bring in our guest for this hour. Joining us is former prosecutor Randolph Rice. Randolph, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. First and foremost, let me get your reaction to what we saw today. As I was saying earlier, I don't know if I've ever really seen anything like it. Things that came close, but this was really something different. Love to get your thoughts.
I think you're right. I mean, this is the continued delusional control that the Adelsons have here, and that obviously Donna has continued. You know, this is something that defense attorneys tell their clients. This is not a chance to go and re-argue this case. This is a chance for you to address the court about how you feel, how you think you should be sentenced, not to re-argue and reopen this case. So I kind of put this on the shoulders of defense attorneys that they didn't stop her from doing this. It
was interesting because I was going to ask you, do you think they were aware of some of the statements that were being made? Perhaps not Harvey's, but Donna's. Because, again, you would think they would review that statement and tell her, as you said, that's probably not the direction we want to go. And I question whether they had seen it or not. She basically was mirroring a lot of the language we heard in closing arguments.
Yeah, I agree. I think they saw it. I mean, she looks like she was reading for something. You know, presumably she had shown that to them. If they didn't, and you know, maybe, again, this is just unable to control this client who thinks she has all the control in the world, and yet she finds herself going to the penitentiary.
And as we heard from Julia, that statement by Donna really caught the ire of the judge, as one would expect it would. Let's take a quick listen as to what he had to say to her. This is when he interrupted her in the middle of her statement and her proclaiming her innocence.
The court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying.
So, Randolph, based on that statement, it was pretty clear that at the end of the day, that statement was falling on deaf ears, and he was going to hit her with them. Basically, I'm not going to call it the maximum, but he sentenced her just like everyone else in this crime who got sentenced after trial.
Yeah, Michael, that's a good point. I wonder if, thinking back, I wonder if any remorse would have really helped her here. You know, this might have been, in her mind, she thought this was her last chance to say something. But, you know, if she really thought she wanted to stand up and argue this case, she should have done it in the trial and taken the stand. If you remember, during the trial, there was a little bit of, not confusion, but delay in her deciding this. You know, that should have been the chance that she should have gotten on the stand and said these things, not now.
Now, one of the things that she argued, and her attorneys argued also, was this idea that perhaps there should have been a change of venue. It's certainly going to be one of the issues on appeal. They do, in fact, plan to appeal, obviously. Is that an issue in this case that you think might have some legs on appeal? This idea that the prosecutors and the media out there in Tallahassee could have spoiled this particular jury pool, and they would have been better off and gotten a fairer trial somewhere else.
I don't think so, and here's why. Because of the fact that they were able to seat a jury, and a jury that was impartial and unbiased. That's sort of the test when you look at ultimately should this be in a different venue. And because of the fact that they were able to seat that jury, that argument really falls on deaf ears, I think, moving forward in appeal.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Now, at the end of the day, Donna sentenced now to life behind bars without the possibility of parole. And on the count 2 of the conspiracy, she got 30 years. On count 3, also 30 years, but that will run concurrent with those 30 years. So she has life in prison without the possibility of parole, and then 30 years additionally as everyone else. All right, Randolph, stand by. We're going to take a break here, folks. Coming up on Court TV.